I got another story that shows the Democratic National Committee has literally learned nothing from their utter defeat at the hands of the Republicans. Now, The Hill is reporting that the Democratic National Committee has recently announced a new round of hires to build what they're calling a war room in order to fight against the administration of Donald Trump. Now, the problem with this is that this entire thing is being filled with Clinton staffers. Fail. Epic 100% fail. Here we go now. Oh.
Oops.
They're going to say that in a couple of months. You watch. Because they have not learned their lesson. Now, I'm predicting that this is going to be a monumental disaster, and I'll get to why in a few minutes. But first, let me read some of the article. Now, leading the effort as interim communications director would be a man named John Neffinger. Now, John Neffinger is a veteran Democratic strategist who will take a leave of absence from his nonprofit strategy firm, Franklin Forum. Okay, look, I don't know what role Franklin Forum took in this last election, but if they took a big role in coming up with strategy, well, they've obviously failed big time. Big league, as Trump would say.
Believe me.
So there you go. Now, beneath Neffinger will be two veterans of Clinton's campaign. Clinton's former rapid response director, Zach Petkanis, will act as senior advisor to the DNC and will run the war room. Petkanis previously handled communications for Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid. Now, again, if you were the rapid response director, I believe that you should not be in this role. Why? Because there are certain areas. Right? Take Michigan, for example. There's a big story out in Politico a few weeks ago, right after the election, where people in Michigan were looking for help from the Clinton campaign. Like, hey, we're trying to canvass here. We believe that Clinton is not doing very well here in Michigan, that Donald Trump's got the advantage, and we need more resources here in Michigan. We need resources. We need people to go out and knock on doors. We need help. The Clinton campaign said, you're on your own, dude. You don't need any help. Don't worry, we got the models all figured out, and Michigan's going to be a cakewalk for Hillary Clinton. Well, that turned out to not be the case. Now, I don't know if Petkanis, I don't know how to say his name. I don't know how big of a role he had in this. But nonetheless, anybody who's connected with that should not be anywhere near the DNC. Shouldn't be. Now, you also have former Clinton campaign spokeswoman Adrienne Watson. That will be the DNC's national press secretary. Watson also worked as communications director for Correct the Record, obviously the David Brock-controlled super PAC. Here we go. See, my opinion on this, again, anybody from David Brock's Correct the Record should not be allowed 10 feet within, even close to the DNC. Or, again, anyone from the disastrous Clinton campaign. Anybody who did any of Clinton's strategy needs to be fired. They have failed absolutely. 100% fail. And you know why? Because she lost to those swing states to Donald Trump. Donald freaking Trump. This should have been a cakewalk for her, and it wasn't. Because she was a bad candidate. Now, they could sit there and they could blame Russia, and they could blame James Comey. They could blame the FBI, which now they're taking the FBI side when it comes to the whole Russian hacking thing. But they won't blame themselves. They won't look inward and take a look and say, okay, well, this is where we did fail. Yes, we had some external factors, but here's what we didn't do. We didn't message. We didn't get out there. We didn't go to those places where Donald Trump was actually resonating his messages, not the hate bullshit, but the actual, like, I'm going to bring back jobs message. They didn't go out there. They didn't do that. And that's their failure, and I don't see why they're not all going out there and owning it. It is their failure. But anyway. Now, again, absolute embarrassment losing to Donald Trump. Now, there's another person. The DNC also announced on Tuesday that it promoted somebody named Tessa Simmons to digital director for the War Room. Again, I don't know a whole lot about her. Now, The article says that during the 2016 campaign, those operatives focused heavily on digging up and driving negative storylines about Donald Trump, a skill Interim Chairwoman Donna Brazile said will actually serve the DNC well, as it, quote, works to hold Donald Trump's feet to the fire as he forms his new government. Now, look, let me ask you this. Did that strategy work before? Digging up things about Donald Trump's past and then presenting them. Did that actually do anything? Did that work? No, it didn't. It didn't work. You know what? The problem with the DNC is, and the Clinton campaign overall, is that they didn't have a vision. They did not articulate something different. Okay? And what they ended up doing is just going after Donald Trump. They just attacked Donald Trump relentlessly. Apparently, that doesn't work very well, okay? What you need to do is you need to have a vision. You need to give people a reason to vote for you, not just a reason to vote against the other guy. And that's what they did. That's one of the failures in this campaign. Now, I'm not great, but this guy really sucks. Turns out to not be a really good campaign slogan. But that's what they did. And also what's bad is advocating for zero change is also not a good campaign strategy. Okay? Look, you go to war in politics by not only attacking, but providing a good campaign strategy. Okay? A good vision for the future. You want to get people excited, not just jump on the other guy. Yes, there's a part of attacking, part of politics is attacking the other guy. Still, you have to have a vision. You have to articulate something for people to believe it. That's what Obama did really well, is that he campaigned like a progressive. He offered hope and change. You didn't get that from the Hillary Clinton campaign. Now, beyond that, I'm not done with this whole war room idea. Now, here's another reason that I think this is going to fail, and it's going to fail epically. Among the war room's priorities will be to champion a congressional investigation into Russia's alleged interference in the 2016 election, which many Democrats blame for Hillary Clinton's defeat. And here we go. Russia, Russia, Russia. We are on to Russia again. Why don't you take responsibility for your loss? Just take responsibility. We didn't talk to the working class enough. We didn't do enough to appeal to people whose jobs were lost. Again, they're not going to do that. They're going to go after Russia. Look, if you want to do an investigation into the alleged hacking, that's fine. If they did meddle, which is possible, okay, we'll do something about it. But again, this isn't focusing on how to defeat Trump or to how to speak to working people. What this is that they're going after anything else. And they're attacking Trump, they're attacking Russia. It's not going to work. This is a bad strategy. What you need to do is articulate a progressive vision for the future. Because that's what people actually want. Now, again, more goals for this so-called war room. They said they'll also be fighting the GOP's attempt to repeal Obamacare and looking to dig up dirt on Trump's egregious and unethical self-dealing, as well as his appointment of nominees whose extreme policies would actively undermine the missions that their respective agencies are responsible for pursuing. Now, look, we've been talking about these terrible appointments to these positions of power. Yes, they are going to undermine rights. They're going to undermine our work on climate change. They're going to undermine women's rights. All that stuff seems to be fair, okay? And yes, Donald Trump does have a record of egregious and unethical self-dealing. That's a fair attack. But again, there's a little bit of hypocrisy, as Hillary Clinton has also had a little bit of a history with using political office in order to enrich herself and her family. And look at the Clinton Foundation. And then you look at the Trump Foundation. Now, Clinton Foundation is somewhat better than the Trump Foundation, but they've still ended up using donors and, the donors would end up using these foundations as a way to get close to Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton could do these people favors. That's pay to play. It happened in both. Now, Donald Trump was a little bit more transparent on how bad it was. He didn't care. He didn't put any of his own money into his foundation. No, what he ended up doing is that donors would put their money into the foundation, and then he would buy stupid shit with it. Like an autograph poster of Tim Tebow or something. Come on. But anyway. Now, the DNC's plan to comb through Trump's past for material to use against the incoming president echoes other efforts in the party. In December, the American Bridge Super PAC announced its own operation to review old footage of Trump, as well as his business dealings, charitable foundation, and personal life. Now, again, did any of that strategy work? No, it didn't. And here's my example. We literally have Trump on tape telling Billy Bush that he grabs women by the pussy. And people still voted for him. Why? Because they hate the establishment that much. And yes, I know, I realize a big chunk of his, maybe not big. Big is not fair. There is a chunk of his voters that are racist, sexist, and misogynistic. I know that. Now, on that, you were never going to get those voters, DNC. So, and look, frankly, we don't want those voters. We don't want people who are racist and sexist, obviously. But you had others that said, hey man, this is bad, but we are willing to let that go if we get actual change, because right now our situation is so desperate. We need some sort of change. And if that guy's the guy that brings us change, then I guess that's what we're going to do. And look, you can look down on those people. You can get mad at them. There's been occasions where I have. Okay. But at the end of the day, there are people out there that can ignore a lot of bad stuff if they and their families are suffering with no hope and no opportunity. When you live in despair, your only concern is how to get you and your family out of that despair. So, and look, that's what Democrats, that's what a lot of liberals need to understand, okay? Look, we're never going to tolerate that racist and sexist bullshit, okay? And these people who have fallen into that, they need to get over it. But what the Democrats can do is that they can start offering these people opportunity. They need to go to these places that don't have opportunity, that have been hurt by the decline of coal, and start to appeal to them. Not by, hey, we should burn more coal. No, like actually building other industries in these places to replace coal and giving these people jobs and opportunity. That's how you reach out. Bernie Sanders showed how to do it. He reached out to these people. And he's one of the biggest hawks on climate change. If he can do it, other progressives can do it. But look, on progressives, on policy, we do have the right policies. These policies work. They do lift people out of poverty, and they do make for a better country. And we need to focus on those policies. And you don't do that by building a team of people who don't fight for those policies and who just are there to make more of the same attacks against Donald Trump that we've already been doing the entire election season. You don't just repeat the same failed strategy and hope to win. That's not going to be effective. And speaking of people who didn't fight for these policies, I'm talking about Interim Chair Donna Brazile. Now, look, I've never met Donna Brazile in person, but she's done some pretty shady shit, okay? For one, she shared questions from a CNN forum with the Clinton campaign. Who, she also has apparently ample evidence that Russia that Russia hacked the election, which they didn't. Now, Brazile also believed that a journalist, Jordan Sheridan, over at TYT Politics, was badgering her simply because he wouldn't swallow her lies against Russia or her lying about Russia. Donna Brazile is somebody who was very anti-Bernie Sanders, who was very anti-progressive. She's the first person that needs to go. She does not need to be part of the DNC in any capacity. She's got to go. And anybody else who also doesn't fight for real progressive policies and priorities, they also have to go. And that's it. You've got to start cleaning house in the DNC if you want to win. And if you want to enact progressive priorities that actually do help the country, then you've got to start cleaning house. I'm about ready to give up on the Democratic Party. I've told you before, if they don't elect a more progressive DNC chair, it's done. I'm done. It's over. Time to leave the party. So we'll see. But the prospects are not looking good. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.